The goal that I set years ago was I want to be the biggest GunTuber of all time.
You are a man of many accolades.
I don't know, I'm too distracted by the dick hole in your pants.
Oh, I left that for you.
We're gonna get into it. I was broke. $30 in my debit account, kind of.
Hell yeah, brother.
And I didn't realize this whole group was calling me dad.
Way better than daddy.
MTV killed the radio star. Brandon Herrera killed the politician.
No.
Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? You'll never know. He's an aged Mexican fence builder, so.
Yeah, he said on one of the other episodes that my spirit animal was an old Mexican fence builder.
Damn straight.
Weirdly enough, I can kind of see it, right?
If he came to your house and was like, hey, I'm here to fix your roof or your fence,
What'll it be?
10 for 10, I'd hire.
All right.
Little white, but okay.
I wear a hat a lot.
A little more trustworthy on this one.
There will be 5% less Coronas drank, but 5% increase in speed.
Yeah. Wow, is that true?
Quality of work is middling.
I feel like quality of work goes down with consumption of Corona, but speed of work goes up with consumption of Corona.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, and morale.
And really, having fun is the most important part.
You hit peak
Also-
morale around 5 Coronas.
And then you start to degrade the straightness of the fence.
Why are the fence posts getting shorter?
Yeah, I had a guy come by when I lived in Downey to repipe the house because like all the pipes were shot, and this was, I don't know, probably a 100-year-old house at the time. And he shows up, and I'm living in there with my family. I got my little daughter, Eliza was only 2 or so at the time. And so we needed water. It wasn't like we could go without water. And this guy comes by and he goes, yeah, we're here. And I go, what are you here to do today specifically? And he goes, repipe. And I go, okay, so you're gonna start repiping today, and then when are you gonna be done? And he goes, today. And I go, there's no way that you're gonna repipe this entire house in a day. And no, they didn't get it done in a day. Yeah, it took them about a week. And yeah, we didn't have water the whole time. So I was going over to my buddy's house to shower and bring my family over there to bathe so that we could just participate in daily life.
Well, he said he was going to be done that day.
He was definitely done that day.
He didn't say the job was going to be done. I'm f***ing going home at 5 o'clock.
That's what his,
However,
he left a couple of the big Bud Light beer cans in the trench that they were digging, and
Listen, sir,
they accidentally hit a water line that they didn't intend to hit. And
Nice.
Yeah, it was quality work.
Never go through the foundation of your house. Like in the center blocks is just full of like tall boy like beer cans.
This was
like
one of
Bud
the
Ice
ones
beer
too
cans.
that was on planks. It didn't have a concrete foundation, so you could go under the house, and it's just on cinder blocks with wood stacked up, and then the beams are across there. It was very sketchy down there, but there was one guy who was willing to go down there like the entire time and was just under there for 2 days straight, just piping the house.
I mean, you've had people living in that house for X many years and nothing's happened. Like, I kind of get like the safety factor, but it doesn't make one feel very good.
No, I'm way too claustrophobic to go down there. Yeah.
What's scarier than that is, have you guys heard about, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's basically like underground people. They live.
Old people?
Basically.
There was some in New York.
They live.
Sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying there's this whole like group of hoodlums of people. They're not like together, but they will just like live in the unused spaces of your house. They'll
there's a
live like
term for
under your
that.
house or like in your attic and stuff like that.
Tweaker?
Kind
Yeah,
of.
that sounds tweaker, I
Yeah.
think is the right word.
Tweaker.
No, it's flocking or frocking or something like
that,
frogging,
where-
something like that.
Where they'll
Frocking.
legitimately like live underneath
Yeah.
or in the attic of your house. Like people have found like tiny hole.
We
in
used to
that.
have like pen pals, like the f***ing Creepcast episode, if anybody's seen that.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
That's
We don't have that problem in Texas.
I wonder why.
probably have it in Austin.
They might have it in Austin, but that's their own damn fault.
Hey, can I borrow some of your f***ing AC copper?
I need to make a call.
Why did this outlet stop working?
But anyways, Brandon Herrera.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing f***ing great.
Thanks for coming on this show.
No, you guys are all friends of mine, so it's too easy. I live down the road, so
Yeah.
We're friends.
are we?
Did you hear that? You said we're friends.
We're fucking friends, dude.
I thought we were friends.
No, man. So how you been? What have you been up to?
Nothing crazy, man. Just same old, same old. Actually, for the first time in all year, I've been able to spend 2 weeks in Texas in a row, which has been
Solid.
great.
Probably been almost 2 years since you've been able to do that with the run and then
The
everything
run kept me in
else.
Texas quite a lot.
Well, yeah, I suppose at home. I mean, yeah,
I did just get back from Austin, but that's an hour and a half away, so I don't really count that.
yeah.
You are a man of many accolades, sir. You.
Not all good.
We're gonna get into it.
Oh, we're getting into it. YouTuber, kind of
Aspiring statesman.
aspiring statesman,
Failed politician.
Failed aspiring
class president, gun builder,
class president of
bridge builder. You know, many different things. What?
Bridge builder.
God.
I don't like that implication.
There's already so many like inside jokes in the beginning of this
Sorry.
episode.
Did you guys get into the bridge builder joke on another episode?
No, we
We're gonna have to
haven't.
put it in the description below. Like,
No, don't put it in.
it's a good joke. Don't.
Randy
You build 1,000 bridges. That's like a well-known joke.
yeah.
Is it?
Is it?
Not that version. If Chris
It'll be for
Pratt
the
tells
after
a
show.
joke on TV, I'm pretty sure it reached well-known.
Did he tell the joke on TV?
He told it in German.
Oh, wow. What was his version of the joke?
Well, the actual version of the joke is, you build 1,000 bridges. Nobody calls you a bridge builder, but you one pig.
Right, right. Everyone calls you a pig.
Tune in for the after show for the explanation of the joke. But most importantly is your renowned fame for your YouTube life and being a gun builder. What started all of this for you?
I was just always into just guns, and like I was like one of those erector set kids that just always liked. I was just fascinated with just how shit worked, and just really bad at talking to women. So like it was really easy.
Figured an erector set was a nice way to get to him. Like
No,
build a
no,
really
I
nice
just-
erector set.
That was
have to
pre-puberty
notice you.
where I didn't even give a f. So
Right.
like that was real easy.
Hey, honey, you want to see my erector set?
Yeah.
Hanging out with friends like when I was like 16 and just in our garages building guns, like just having
Yeah.
I was into like the parts kit world before I turned 18 for sure.
Really?
Actually,
That's super cool.
So felonies.
no, that's totally legal.
What?
Yeah, it's legal. It's never been illegal in the United States to manufacture your own firearm, and there's no restriction. There's restrictions on buying, and some states it has to be like a parental, supervision thing about
Really?
quote unquote. But yeah,
It's just like making moonshine, where like it's not illegal to manufacture your own moonshine. You like wait until
depending on the
when you
state.
sell it.
That is state
Interesting.
law. Yeah, I looked into doing it for a while. Actually,
Yeah.
I read quite a few books on it.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Coming soon, Man versus Morning Moonshine.
Some states,
versus moonshine.
like including
Moonshine.
well, Man versus Moonshine has been a long, that's been a long battle.
Long-standing battle.
And it ends with
Multi-century.
us.
Damn, Moonshine won again.
Reset. It's like the architect scene in The Matrix.
Tune in again tomorrow.
Just a bottle of moonshine. I've reset you 6 times.
It's Nolan fighting that homeless dude in the alleyway. Like, like stop getting up. Like,
Please leave, sir. You're in beach. Admit it.
Yeah. I could do this all day.
I didn't hear no bell.
that's what it was. That dude was.
Do you want to tell that story as long as we're on it? And then
Sure.
we can get back to Brandon's life story.
Sure, I'll wrap it up fairly quickly.
Do you think we brought you here to talk about you?
Oh yeah, I've heard this story.
Okay, so I was bartending and bouncing at this bar in Silver Lake, California, and at the time I was living in a van bus, like one of those free
Was it-
candy buses.
Down by the river.
A VW?
I wish, but it was in
Or a
Silver.
Chevy.
It was a Chevy.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a Chevy. It
Yeah.
was sick. 2500.
Dude,
hell yeah,
solid.
solid. So I was living in the back.
with the sliding door.
Hell yeah, dude. You know,
They still never found her.
we don't talk about that.
But he's building bridges now, so don't worry about it.
Let me tell you what.
There's a guy got to build.
It's not a coupon system. It's not a punch card.
Damn it! I thought that's how it worked.
At my 10th bridge.
This is America. How many 501c do I need to start?
You build 25 bridges, you get one for free.
All right, I got my 10th bridge. All right, that means I get a. That can't be right.
It's a subway punch card. You didn't read to the end of it.
Wait a
What's
minute.
this fine print on the back?
That's where Epstein went wrong. You built an island and not bridges. You know what I mean?
You should have built a bridge to the island.
Yeah.
Epstein's bridges.
He was pretty good at building a noose and suicide watch.
That's true.
It's crazy.
And, a country somewhere.
Look at the time. I gotta go.
Anyway,
But so
we'll keep going.
I was living behind the bar. Wake up because the bar would close around 4. I'd get to bed about 5. Wake up at noon the next day, and I'm like, time to start setting at the bar from the last night. So I woke up. I start heading to the back door, and there's this dude just sitting on one of the benches in the back area. And you know those propane heaters with the glass in the middle where the flame comes up? He had his phone set up there, and he's just sitting there. His arm's like in a cast, and he looks kind of homeless, but kind of not at the same time. Newly homeless. Greasy enough to be homeless.
Unshowered.
Unshowered. He was unbathed, sir. And he's sitting there. I'm like, hey, man, do you work here? Knowing damn well he doesn't. He's like, do I need to work? And just, it hit me like a profound philosophy session. I was like, damn it.
Living my life all wrong.
I guess you don't. It helps.
Yeah.
Certainly helps.
The conversation devolves, and I end up saying, like, hey, man, either I'm going to have to remove you from the premises or you got to leave. Like, those are the only 2 options. I'm not calling the cops. This isn't how this works here. He was like, I stay. You are a bad host. I'm like, all right.
I'm not hosting. So you get the off my property.
Exactly. I said, all right. So I go to pick him up. He like throws this like wild little kick at me. I'm like, okay. Long story short, I end up fighting this guy. I break the heater with his body. I kick him into the shelf, and he just keeps getting back up. I've choked him out. He's fell asleep, gets back
In
up.
Russia, they called him the White Tiger.
He's the white tiger. I've hit him in the jaw clean like 3 or 4 times. His nose is sideways.
What's Russian for the stinky vagrant?
The White Tiger.
He's white tiger. Same.
Same.
And so I'm eventually like, he keeps coming towards me. He's like, what are you, kickboxer? You are a bitch. Admit it. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to fight. Please.
You on beach.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've knocked you out 4 times, and you just keep getting back up. Please stop. He goes, you are a bitch. Admit it. Comes one more step, hit him in the jaw. He drops like this and right back up. It was like a bouncy ball, dude. Unbelievable. And he goes,
In.
Yep. He goes, you are a bitch. Admit it. Says the same thing, and I go, all right, man. I'm a bitch. You win. And he goes, good. So puts his hands down, turns his back to me, grabs his bag, and leaves.
That's all I needed. He won that fight.
And I lost that fight.
Yeah.
So now
was
you
willing
are
to
1-0. 0-1.
0-1.
One.
That's your problem. You weren't willing to die.
He was.
He was willing to die to be
For what?
to not be called a bitch.
We don't really know. No one was even calling him a. He was being told to please leave, sir.
Yeah, Los Angeles has a homeless problem. I don't know if anyone knows this out there, but it's a real problem. You get situations like that.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
We've had people walk into the Corridor Digital Studio, just kind of randomly.
What do you do? Use cameras? You're a bitch.
Right? Yeah, exactly. People,
Would you smell good? You're a bitch.
people stealing catalytic converters out of the cars right in front of the building in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
There was a drug deal gone sideways in the middle of the day on the street. One time there was this guy, he, I don't know what the exact transaction was, but there was people in a car on the street, and then there was another guy. That guy, something happens. One of the guys in the car, I think, gets out with a gun, starts running after him with a handgun, runs into the warehouse across the street from us, runs back outside, and then one of them gets in the car and they take off. And then it was this Scooby-Doo situation where we didn't know what door they were going to go in or when they were going to. Yeah. Anyway, that wasn't homeless people, but that was just another kind of anecdote.
Los
Thinking of
Angeles.
a drug deal gone bad to the Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Where are you?
No,
You got some tweaker with a handgun sprinting out of your warehouse.
What
It's
is
a lot of
that?
this kind of shooting too, like back over their shoulder.
It's like where you have the hallway with the doors, you know?
Yeah.
It's like what are those called? The
Hallways?
The Goldberg machines or something like that. Anyway, it's that old Hollywood trick.
Where you run in one door,
run in
but
one
then
door
run out
and then
a
run in
different
the
one.
other, and somebody's chasing you. They did it in cartoons all the time.
But it was Dirty Mike and the boys in the parking lot.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Los Angeles, the land of opportunity.
So parts kits.
Yeah. Back to parts.
You're in
kits.
your garage. You're putting together a parts kit.
I was super into I was having like me and my buddy trying to figure out how to rebuild PPS 43 kits and things like that. We're like 16.
PBS 43.
Yeah, it's a Russian World War II subgun. made by he was one of the guys who was
Kalashnikov.
no, he was in the Kalashnikov trials, like when the AK-47 was adopted. He actually had it was Alexei Sudayev, that's what it is. Sudayev, however you say it. But
What made you take the bent on to the Russian arms? What,
it was just always interesting. My dad also like kind of got me onto the AK side of things because he was always just like one of those. He liked Glocks, he liked AKs.
Yeah.
I guess I like Glocks and AKs, but he was never like a big gun guy. He was just like very insistent that whatever guns he was going to have
Must be Russian.
they had to be reliable.
Right.
He was big in reliability. He's like,
Yeah.
what good is a tool that doesn't work all the time?
Yeah.
Is kind of his mindset on it. But I just kept going into it more and more, and I ended up. I always just wanted to do something in the gun space. I didn't know what. I ended up going to pre-law at Campbell.
Yeah.
So when I turned 18, I applied to one school. It was Campbell University. Got in.
Yeah.
Because my grades were shit, but I smoked the SAT.
Hell
so I was
yeah.
like, okay, cool.
Really
thank
rolled it
God.
and smoked it when you got done with it.
Yeah. That's what he means.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that was high enough to get you into the.
To get me into the only school that I cared about, because Campbell had a pretty good law school in Raleigh.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And then 3 semesters in, I'm like, I hate it here. I hate everything about this.
Yeah.
This isn't for me, because I was in the business school at the time as like part of my pre-law track, and that I was thinking like, this is where I'm going to learn about business, and this is where I'm going to learn how to run businesses. And all it was like teaching you how to write corporate memos and how to work for somebody.
Yeah, that's how you run a business.
And I'm like, this is
So you
not
run
teaching
somebody
me
else's business.
not teaching me anything I wanted to know. And like I was getting really depressed about it, and I was gonna myself. I was like, this is
Really? That
shit.
bad?
Yeah, I was like, this sucks.
Jeez.
I hate this. And I basically was just like, yeah, I'm gonna drop out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try the gun thing.
Yeah.
And whatever happens with that happens. And I was doing real estate at the time, like as a side gig to like kind of get some more money and whatnot. But I was
Yeah.
to pay for me to be able to do YouTube. And then when I really, because I've been doing YouTube since I was 18. I was actually, I was doing YouTube on my current channel since I was 18.
Okay.
Because you had like an Airsoft channel before that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we talked about
We
that.
talked about that.
Nobody knows where it is.
Yeah,
It
what
doesn't.
was, like,
It
the
stopped
first thing-
existing like 15 years ago.
What was like the first thing you put on YouTube?
It was me and my buddy had an Airsoft channel.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
I was in 6th grade, 7th grade at the time.
Nice.
And we were getting guns sent to us by like Airsoft Station. Shout out. Don't know if they're still around.
Dude, that's so Sam used to do that.
Really?
Yeah, because this was, this was before like age verifications and stuff online, and Sam would go onto eBay, and as a 15-year-old,
Yeah.
and go because he needed prop guns for the films that they were shooting.
Yep.
And he would just buy them on eBay. Nobody would ask any questions, and he would.
No. I mean, it's a plastic, fake.
Sure,
gun.
yeah, it is. But it's pretty funny to think about like what you could get away with in the early internet days.
People in the UK watching this.
yeah, I know.
Back when the internet was cool.
Did you see in the UK they're trying to make it to where all of your kitchen knives have like a square blunted end that's going to prevent knife crimes? Did you see this? Yeah.
It was outrageous.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you could just
The side is still sharp,
crack
Right,
it.
it's still-
and you could still just cut it.
But I mean, they're actively arresting people in the UK and London for like.
Yeah.
There was a woman that was arrested for praying in her head on the street last week.
Praying in her head.
Yeah,
Thought
the
crime.
UK is lost. They're lost. They lost during COVID when they were arresting people in their houses for over the. Yeah, we'll move on.
No, keep going.
was
No, I don't want to
keep going.
No, please.
Okay, so during the flu epidemic of 2019 through on in the UK, they built an entire. So it matters.
Where's the country of
Thank you for
Churchill?
that, Tackett. On to the next bit. Brandon, you said when you were talking about Kalashnikov or Kalashnikov.
Kalashnikov. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's not Balashnikov.
That's the Galil.
Not to be confused with the Galil Balashnikov.
Is this like a Porsche versus Porsche thing?
No, actually.
That was actually 2 different guys.
Yeah.
What?
Ironically enough.
Yeah. Tell the story.
Please.
So Kalashnikov was the designer of the AK-47, Mikhail Kalashnikov.
Okay.
But the guy who came along later and designed the Galil, which is a Kalashnikov variant for Israel, 5.56 NATO and everything like that. His name was he took an adopted name later, but his original name was Balashnikov.
Really? Which is this like? Is Russia like the Middle East, where like they're all
The AK
Mohammed-
and the AB.
I've never
Kalashnikovs?
in my life heard of any other Balashnikov or Kalashnikov other than Mikhail and whatever his first name was.
Probably.
How come you guys don't drink the
Kyle.
heat dogs?
Because he has something interesting to say.
We invited him.
God, this feels like a hostile working environment.
No, never.
Did you say Kalashnikov trials?
Well, so there was weapons trials for the new assault rifle of the Russian army.
Got it.
And
He wasn't
one of
on
them-
trial.
No.
Okay.
One of the guns that he put forward for trial
Yeah.
was the AK-47.
Got it.
Not like Oppenheimer.
Sudayev had his, prototype weapon. Degtyarev had his.
Yeah.
And allegedly, as the story goes, Degtyarev, who's like the legendary weapons designer, designed the Dishka, the RPD, bunch of stuff for the Soviet military.
Yeah.
Saw the AK-47 and sat down with Kalashnikov and went through it and withdrew from the trials because he's like, your gun's better.
Wait, you just blew my mind a little bit. The RPD came before the AK?
Yes.
That
I
just, like,
think
just completely blew my mind.
First
I'm
AK
reasonably
was
sure.
47?
46-ish.
in there?
Interesting.
Because Degtyarev, I just know it came from Degtyarev. Degtyarev designed a bunch of shit and he loved flapper lock.
Yeah, the RPD is like if you could go with one gun, like that thing is such a workhorse. Like it's amazing.
It's pretty good. There's a lot of the modern variants, including the one that I have that's converted, have a lot of issues.
But isn't it belt
Is it
head?
converted to 308 now?
No, it's 7.62 by 39, but it's converted full auto from a semi-auto.
Oh, okay.
And man, I don't know what it is.
That's why it has issues.
The people that make reproduction stuff in the U.S. just never fully recreated 100%. There's always something wrong with it.
When you retire from the YouTube game, can you start manufacturing quality parts like that?
We might start doing it soon while I'm still in the YouTube game.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that'd be
Well,
so
I'm
weird.
still alive.
Yeah, we're working on
Put all
some
that on
stuff.
Pepperbox if you wanted to. Just saying.
We got a couple irons in the fire. I'll tell you about later that we're looking at maybe rolling out later this year. Just parts.
Awesome.
Just so
bridges.
Yeah, for bridges.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what do you think is the most reliable, I'll say, like Russian or Eastern weapon? The AK?
Yeah, AK and AK variants are. I mean, they're just super reliable. The truth is, there's a lot of guns that are like very reliable now.
Yeah. Well, you honestly, I mean, I was ignorant to it, and when we did the class warfare series, where we actually compared the AKs, and we had the one that was, I guess, just properly built, and the MOA on it was less than an inch or 1.2 or whatever.
Yeah, with
you know,
open irons at
with
100
open
yards.
irons at 100 yards with a little wobbly picnic table. Yeah, I mean, that impressed me a lot because, you know,
I
we're
was very proud of that group. I was like, I put the gun down afterward. I'm like, I don't think I could beat that.
No, that's
Well,
not going to
there's-
try again.
So have you heard that old phrase or that old like statement when the Russians and the Americans were competing to get to the moon first? And the Americans said, hey, we're in outer space, you know, there's no gravity. We're going to need something to write with. And so the Americans hired like
Yeah.
Boeing Corporation or whoever it was to come up with a pencil that could write
Or
an
a pen.
anti-gravity.
It was the ballpoint pen, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the Russians just gave their astronauts a pencil.
Yep. It's the Russian way.
Well, and it's super funny.
So perfectly
Yeah.
puts it into a context.
There was a German company that was working on a integrally suppressed revolver, or a suppressible revolver, and they came up with all sorts of complicated gas trap mechanisms and everything around the cylinder. Because if you don't know on a revolver, you have a cylinder gap.
Right.
So there is a slight gap between where the chamber is in the cylinder
Don't
and
put
the
your
barrel.
hand there.
And a lot of gas escapes makes
Yeah.
it very hard to actually effectively suppress it.
Yeah.
And so they had like this gas trap cylinder shit all around it. Like, looks funky as hell. And in the 1890s, the Russians had already done this before the suppressor really existed.
Really?
They've got the Nagant revolver that all it does is it
right.
just pushes up when it locks.
Yeah.
When you pull the hammer back, the cylinder moves forward and seals against the barrel.
Who would have
Yeah.
thought?
They did this before the invention, essentially, of the semi-automatic handgun.
Right.
But for all intents and purposes, it's like,
They have a beautiful way of just keeping things simple, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need
'Cause they-
advanced technology. We'll just sing.
because they don't have it.
Yeah, right.
Don't think this is some sort of like, oh, the Russians are like, no, they don't have the capability most of the time. So it has to be simple, which
They're too busy fighting Nolan in alleyways to like develop stuff. You know?
Too many white tigers out there,
too many
dude.
white tigers.
There's almost came out of the woodwork. You're getting too positive on the Russians.
Listen,
there's
communism
just
just hasn't been tried correctly.
That's right.
No,
Where is he? I can hear him.
somewhere.
You say communism 3 times and you just bust through the wall.
Don't say it again.
Communism.
No, there's a saying from Kalashnikov that he had. It was like a quote, but it was something along the line. I'm going to paraphrase it, but it was something along the lines of, it's easy to design something that is complicated. Everything that is useful is simple.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
good,
it's like-
actually.
All right, I can get on with that.
So at what point in the process of, being 16, buying parts kits, messing around with stuff, did you feel like you actually had achieved the, I guess, base knowledge to actually make an attempt at manufacturing your own firearm?
It came, and there's, everybody gets better throughout the years, right?
Yeah.
In the very early days, I look back at some of my early work, like just even builds that I have, and I'm like, I'm gonna redo that.
I'm gonna pop that. I'm gonna pop that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not 100% proud of that. It's like still better than something that IO would cook up or anything like that. That's not saying a lot,
Right.
But 16-year-old
throat.
kid in the garage. No, they don't exist anymore.
That's fair.
I'd like to think I contributed to that.
Hell yeah, brother.
No, you learn, and more importantly, you get good mentors.
Yeah.
and you learn from them. Like
Okay.
Chris Baker, shout out. It's like one of my early gunsmith friends and mentors. Helped a lot with the AK-50 project early on.
Really? Okay.
Zach Schaefer,
Yeah.
my head gunsmith, awesome dude. My opinion, best AK builder in the country, and I'll stand by that.
It's like a super good point. Like you have to constantly put yourself in rooms with people that are better than you at things.
100%.
Like it's the only way to move forward.
Why would I hire somebody who's worse than me? at
Right.
something?
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the mistakes that people make, They
Yeah.
they get to a point where they're comfortable and they don't want to be around people that are better than them. I'm like,
That's very weird.
mistake.
Yeah.
That's why ego has no place in business.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why business school has no place in business.
Frankly,
The first thing you do when you get to business school is they just take your money and then kick you out and go, first lesson in business. You f***ed up.
it would have been easier, frankly.
It'd be more helpful,
Yeah.
So it was what? How many years in would you say? Like where you were like, I'm going to build my own. Did you try that right away?
Oh, I was doing it, like I said, like when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But it kind of evolved, and like I wanted to do like a multi-level thing where it's like, okay, a multifaceted thing rather, where I'm like, I want to build guns, but I also want to do YouTube to promote the gun business, because that'd be cool. And then it turns out that the gun business now is like basically a passion project.
Right.
And YouTube is the moneymaker, which is funny because I never would have expected that.
I remember that in your early videos. I went back and watched some of your, the first 10 or so, and that was one of the themes that
Child.
I recognized. Well, they are funny to
baby
watch.
boy.
Yeah, just wee baby Brandon.
Baby Brandon.
That charming face with that motorcycle jacket.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's funny looking back because it's like, man, there's certain periods, and you could see, and I can go back and like identify it in myself because I knew what I was going through at the time.
Yeah.
There was and everybody's like, oh, he just came out of nowhere and he this. Like people say like, oh, you're a CIA plant. You just, of course, now you've got all this political following and gun industry shit or whatever. I'm like, homie,
That's weird.
I lit my 20s on fire.
Yeah.
I didn't go out. I didn't do the crazy shit like
Yeah.
normal kids were doing. Like I work.
Yeah.
Right.
I was looking back, and like some of your earliest videos on your channel right now are you at SHOT Show interviewing people about their firearms that they brought to SHOT Show. So good.
And it's like I was probably 19 or 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's like one of those beautiful things too. Is like people like the overnight success thing is that you
Yeah.
put 10 years into something and then 90 days went well and now you're a big deal.
Unless you're Nick.
Yeah, unless you're
Unless you're Nick.
Unless you're
Okay.
Nick, you just post one.
I
TikTok.
guess lightning does strike in
Yeah.
But even even still, he's been going at it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that guy works himself like an abused horse.
Yeah.
He's a very he's sharp,
Yep.
and
Nice, quick.
he's very
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just got very good business instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't waste a lot of time. A lot of times it takes people, especially in the content game, it takes people time to figure out how to cut out their own ego out of their own content. And Nick had some natural ability to do that on his own without that much guidance at all. And that's pretty rare. And honestly, that's the one thing. If you're going to really succeed, especially in today's content world, that's a thing that a lot of times people get trained into them in the wrong way when they first start. They pick up a camera and they start learning about cinema, and they start learning about like the director's vision, you know, and the sort of raison d'etre of like why something exists. And then
How do you say that in English?
the reason to be, like why does it exist? You know,
Why don't you just say that?
well, because it's a term of art, my friend.
We don't speak in loose.
And as somebody who's studied pre-law, you should know what a term of art is. So that's the idea, right? And
Dude,
then-
he's our guest. Don't talk to him.
I just don't speak loser.
don't speak loser, goddammit. Los Angeles,
Yeah, on the
you're kind.
Some of the things. Here, I'll speak up, not down at the ground.
There you go. Good call.
Probably good call. Some of the things that I want to know personally about you, Brandon, and us being friends, I still don't fully know.
scared.
First question: What
Stands in the street outside your house at night.
We're friends, right? We're friends. You said we were friends.
Standing there like a lost puppy. Let me in. Like Nolan, just please stop.
Stop doing that. Just call me.
My daughter did that. I was on my computer. It was after dinner. I was in my office and I didn't hear her like walk into my office. And I'm sitting there typing on Discord, talking to somebody, and she walks up behind me like a little like, and she's so
bubble
skinny.
monster, dude.
We call her Flaquita. Like she's this little floating like, and I just hear, Dad. And I go, Jesus Christ. I was like, what? And then she goes, Are you gonna say a prayer to apologize for saying the Lord's name in vain? I was like, damn, you're right. All right. Damn it. Anyways, so yeah, your question.
Maybe privately.
Get the hell out of there. Get out of here. Scout.
Yeah.
What would you say, sir? What are some of your crowning achievements?
Crowning achievements.
Throughout this this run of life.
Wait, before that, I want to know, and then
you.
we can get to that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course.
You, Nolan.
You're right.
Let me in.
Just as long as we're talking about YouTube, I wanted to know, and this is different for everybody, and then we can get to crowning achievements. When you,
Sure.
I'm not gonna apologize.
Are you going to say a prayer later?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Me and Nolan are just
say
gonna
one for
start sneaking into your office.
Listen.
We call him Daddy Watson all the time.
I'll say, Papa.
I've called him out for years.
Since he's 47 years old.
Well, y'all started calling me
Yours
Dad
is a different
one time,
reason.
and I didn't realize that this whole group was calling me Dad behind my back.
We call you that to your face.
Yeah, I know, but it started. I remember when I noticed that it had started because I was on the phone with Eli, and Eli was talking about something that he had a conversation with you guys about, and he was quoting what you guys had said and what he had said, and he said, "Yeah, I'll go back to Dad and ask him about that." And I said, "What'd you call me?"
Wait a second.
Way better than Daddy.
Right? Yeah.
Is it?
So everyone's got a different answer to this, but
If some chick in bed called me Dad, I would be very concerned.
Daddy, green light. Dad, please go.
I don't think I want
Please go
Daddy
home.
in there.
We've made a
either.
mistake.
There's not enough therapy in the
Nope.
world to solve the dad conundrum.
Oh, Lord.
Daddy is fun. Daddy.
Now he's gonna say a prayer.
Welcome to Man versus Morning.
Yeah.
Let's just restart.
We're gonna
Restart.
cut the whole beginning out.
Here comes the moonshine bottle. I reset you 6 times.
Build
save-
1,000 bridges.
We'll save the tunnel Jews and that segment for the after show. No, but
Leave it in.
yeah. When everyone has a different answer to this, but you started the channel 18.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh, gun building. You're thinking,
That was my third channel at that point.
okay. At what point?
That's incredible.
At what point in the process of that did you feel like you had quote made it as a creator, like in that business model and in that?
Man, I don't ever think there was a moment. There's not like one defining moment because I've always had different goals.
Yeah.
Like I remember setting the goal. This was a crazy thought. I was on a plane somewhere, like maybe to SHOT Show or whatever. I was listening to a bunch of like entrepreneur business books, stuff like that.
Got that Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week going.
No, but like, well, I was listening to a lot of different people: the Grant Cardones, the Gary Vaynerchuk's, Elon Musk's biography, just a bunch of different shit. Just like learning what business people do. 0 to 1, Peter Thiel and Blake Masters, actually.
Right. The Life and Times in the Gulag by Dostoevsky.
Yeah, the Gulag Archipelago. light reading.
Just my casual bedtime reading.
I was setting goals because whenever I got close to a goal, I
Yeah.
just set another goal.
Sure.
And the goal that I set years ago was I want to be the biggest GunTuber of all time,
Okay.
or like the biggest GunTuber on YouTube.
Yeah.
And now with Matt out of the way, I'm one closer.
I mean, you just killed Demo Matt. So.
we were
Did
laughing.
just go to his funeral.
We were laughing at the whole Matt's funeral thing that like we all needed to walk around and be like, "Can I have that now? Can I have that?"
Yeah.
this mine.
Like when
But
your
I-
grandpa's sick in bed, like, "Can I have that?"
I think now I kind of am, in
Yeah,
a way.
I
Like, it
would
depends on how you look at it. Because, like, Grantham still has more subs. Scott, Kentucky Ballistics, he's up there. He's got more subs. But, like, views per video.
Scott's more of an entertainer.
Yeah.
You are an entertainer, but you also teach in your videos a lot of
Yeah,
times.
and there's a place for both. Like, Scott's,
Yeah.
like, one of my best industry friends. He's
Oh,
really,
he's
really good
excellent.
guy.
He's a beautiful soul as
I
well.
think it's your
Class act.
influence outside of YouTube. I think it's all the stuff that you do outside of just like YouTube videos, like your speaking engagements and like your political runs and things like that. Like I think
I try to make it matter.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, if you think about it, Scott is the biggest.
He's literally
Oh, he's
physically-
absolutely the
Yeah.
biggest. Yeah.
Have you guys seen that meme, the next evolution of Kentucky Ballistics?
No.
And somebody drew just a really shitty drawing, but it's just like essentially it's just basically a square body with Scott's head on it.
Roblox.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Roblox.
And you know, he's all natural, too. He refuses to touch steroids.
I bet because I mean, I
corn-fed ball?
don't know him super well, but I know him enough to know that his personality I wouldn't really expect that from him. You know?
Even just like basic TRT, he's
Yeah.
just like, nah, don't want to do it. Like, I'm just shocked.
Kingpin is what.
So he used
Yeah,
to be
Kingpin. There
he
you
used
go.
to be a Kentucky State Trooper. Imagine if that guy pulled you over.
oh god,
yeah.
You go,
sir, I have
That's
drugs
where
in the car
Daddy
and they're
comes
right
out.
here.
He just rips the car door clean off.
and his
But casually, it's not.
dad
It's not ever.
is huge too.
Oh, yeah, his dad's
And I don't know
big
how
boy.
old that man is, but he's jacked.
Great shape.
Yeah.
Some
And
people
he's-
just get good
I'm gonna
genes.
assume he's at least 20 years older than Scott.
There's something in the water.
What are they doing in Kentucky out there?
Seriously.
Well, it's not West Tennessee, so
I want to bottle whatever water they're drinking from that spring.
So before I was rudely interrupted.
Well, hold on, wait, we're not
Damn
done.
it.
We're not done. Not done.
That's about to happen again.
So the key that what you're saying, the key to when you got to that point was simply continuing to set, large but reasonable goals for yourself. And then as you got closer to them, just continuing to move yourself forward with a new one.
Because I still, don't get me wrong, I'm doing comparatively
Yeah.
to the rest of my life and to, average, American income, stuff like that. I'm doing extremely well for myself.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it.
Sure.
Sometimes because I just set different goals.
Yeah.
And I think that but there's freedom that comes with it. Like I was having this conversation with Kevin Brittingham because I look up to him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And he's just you're able to have real conversations.
Well,
with
he's
people
probably
like
a
that.
wealth of knowledge for a guy like you too.
Knowledge and like literal wealth where he does what he wants now. And
Right.
he like started a company just to do cool shit and be able
Yeah.
to spend millions of dollars just to do what fulfills him.
Their marketing,
And
phenomenal.
I was having this conversation and we were just talking about moments where you realize you made it kind of
Yeah.
to a degree. And I think that moment was like, when you stop checking the prices at restaurants. Because like
that's pretty good.
I remember, I don't know if I've ever told the story. When I went to go see Cody, when we were first starting to like become friends,
Yeah.
he was still in Fort Mill, South Carolina.
He was courting me online and
yeah, exactly. I found him on Farmers Only.
I like you now.
I went to visit him while I was coming back from an event, and I was broke, right? I was still doing YouTube, but I was like
right.
$30 in my debit account kind of shit.
Hell yeah, brother.
And
That's the way.
I remember
All been there.
I just filled up gas so I can get all the way home.
Yeah.
But I went to go stop to see him first, and we sat down to have lunch. And I remember lying and saying I had just eaten. I was starving.
Right.
We sat down for lunch, and I'm like, I'll just have a water and just sitting like hanging out or whatever. I know he would have paid for my food.
Yeah, but you didn't want
I
that.
asked. I didn't want it.
Not the point.
Right.
I was like, no. I'm like, I'm
Right.
not going to be that fucking guy. But I was starving.
Yeah.
I literally had to ask. I think I had to ask somebody to Venmo me $20 to put on my Venmo account, or to put on my debit account so I could pay for the gas to get home.
Right.
And then you overdrafted at the gas pump.
Probably, yeah. I'm like, I'll eat the $10 fee because, you know.
I'm gonna go get
I don't have it
$15
anyways.
out and then overdraft the rest of it. Yeah.
That's how I got to California. I was on overdraft fees.
Yep. I think you talking about like setting new goals and stuff, like that's like the mark of like successful people is like you like get to a mountaintop and you're never kind of pleased with it.
Well, I don't think, this sounds defeatist, but I swear to God, it's not. I don't think men can be happy.
No, I agree. I think we need a purpose in a project.
Yeah, I don't think there's a light at the end of that tunnel where if I meet this goal, I'll be happy. I don't think that exists, and I don't think it should.
So, okay, I've been struggling with this concept for a while now, but I think it's this concept of being satisfied with what you've done, but not being complacent with what you've done.
Yeah, you can be proud of what you've accomplished.
Right. Yeah, and I think you should, I mean, life's hard. It takes work and sacrifice and time and everything to get to achieve anything, which is kind of this funny little existential place that we're in space and time.
Called dread.
Right. But no, like you can achieve something and go, great, I've done that and I'm happy with it. And now I want to move on to the next thing that I couldn't have done unless I got to this point.
Yeah.
And that's just, there's an ambition there, there's a level of sacrifice there, but also you know when you have to check yourself if you're spending more time talking about the past than you are talking about the future.
Yeah.
That's when you really need to go, okay, where am I at? And should I be thinking about what the next thing that I'm capable of doing is? Because honestly, I've found the only thing that's like satisfying over the long term to me is like applying yourself to that next thing. If you don't do that, I feel like you can get stuck in a rut. And
The term of like, you're only as good as your next at bat.
sure,
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think. Go for it.
Oh, I heard it from someone. I wish I could remember and give them credit, but it stuck with me for 10 years. Where men aren't happy by achieving goals, we are happy while we are achieving them.
Right.
While you're making progress toward the goal.
Right in the
That's
middle
when
of it,
men
right?
feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
That's super good because I was going to say I think it's really important for young men to kind of get taught that lesson. Is because like when I achieved my black belt in karate, I was like, yeah, I'm here, and then I just felt like just a void.
A week later, you're like,
I was like, what do I do now? I guess I can keep going in this, but like even though technically in martial arts, like once you hit black belt, you're technically now just a beginner. But it still felt like that was the goal that I was chasing for 8+ years, and I got there. And I was like, whoa. Oh no.
You just blew my mind with that. I don't know anything about martial arts, and you're my sensei right now. So sensei, you just blew my mind. When you achieve a black belt, that's when you're actually allowed to like enter the arena as a peer, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so the levels of martial arts, at least in the Kempo karate system that I'm in, the way they kind of look at it, there's degrees of black belt. Like I'm a first degree black belt.
That's when you're like a Jedi and now you can fight the Sith.
Correct. Like you're now no longer
but
a
you may not
Padawan.
have a seat at the council.
Right.
No, yeah.
This is completely unfair.
Okay, Anakin, shut up.
So
Sell you back to Tatooine.
Yeah, exactly.
do it. Do the thing. So I found out I have a really good impression of this guy.
Your credits don't work here. Only money. Only money.
You could fool me with your Jedi mind tricks?
Your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. Only money. Only money. What did George Lucas mean by this?
Why are they referencing the bugs in Starship Troopers to Palestinians?
What could he mean by this?
What did he possibly mean?
Did you see the one where it's like Spider-Man, the Spider-Man 3? Like when like the symbiote infects him or whatever, and he like becomes like bad Peter Parker or whatever. And as soon as he becomes like dark Peter Parker, wears like the black clothes and acts like an asshole, he answers the phone and says, Shalom. And they're like, okay, all jokes aside, what the did Sam Raimi actually mean by this?
Immediately started digging tunnels.
But why are they in the sewers?
I was like, yeah, no, I get it's a joke, but like, what? Seriously, what the was up with that?
Well, it's like
This is the most anti-Semitic shit I've ever heard.
cool with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Hey, cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
But it's like it's also the people who are like, J.K. Rowling, what did you mean by having the not the elves, they're
the goblins.
the goblins? What did you?
I thought you were going to say
You're referring to the Jewish people by having them run banks, and it's like, oh.
Is that what you took from
Oh,
it?
you took from the goblins
Yeah,
that
that's
they're
a weird
Jewish.
take for you.
the one where it's like J.K. Rowling has one Asian character in all 8 books, named Ching Chong. Thanks, J.K.
Nice.
Let's go get Uncle Ben in here.
But yeah, the belt system, it works like that. So like your degrees, like once you enter
That's
the black belt,
fascinating. I want a black belt now just because of that.
right now you want to be seen as a peer.
Right.
So you enter that realm of beginner. Now you understand the basics, essentially, of the system.
Right. Now you know how to think and act and fight.
Right.
And now you can when you're beaten, you can actually be beaten. It's not like, oh, I was training you or you were a trainee. It's like, no, now you have no excuse anymore.
Right.
Now you're like a journeyman in the trade. You're like,
Correct.
Wow.
Now you're seen as someone who can actually do something.
love that.
Yeah, but you're still a child.
Yeah.
And what are you just
You can
calling
get-
a timeout on my
talking?
story?
I was just like,
No, you
figured, like,
can
wait, do we want to take a timeout?
well, I want him to finish the story
Yeah,
first.
really.
Yeah, and then we can maybe
That's like when we were talking to Nick. The belts being
cut
worn.
to that.
Sometimes people have to pee.
Go pee. You're fine. You can
Run, skedaddle, scoot.
This isn't elementary school. You can just do that.
yeah.
Teacher.
Yeah. Coach.
It's got to be straight up.
Right.
Yeah, heaven forbid. My heart goes out to you. Oh God.
You got in front of the mic.
No, I didn't. It's right here.
Now Chase is gonna have to comp the shit out of that. By the way, I don't know if you know, there's a microphone right here.
What?
Yeah, Chase comps it out and back to comping. See how it's gone?
Yeah.
That's movie magic, baby. Nick's actually been standing here the whole time.
Ever since we said communism.
Fades in.
Like the Inception bell or the train horn.
That was
Yeah.
when Wes told me, he's like, all right, Wes told me last night, he's like, you need to start in your videos just doing one frame of Tyler Durden standing next to you in videos.
That would be super good.
It's like
dude.
Fight Club.
Beautiful.
Like
Yeah.
we needed.
Is Brandon Herrera the Tyler Durden?
In the industry, we call them cigarette burns.
Yeah.
You can never actually fully tell, but you know you saw it.
It's just the kid crying in the theater.
Yeah. I just watched that movie again recently and like, so good.
Have you
I found out last night.
good.
I haven't seen it in years, but I can still quote.
Yeah.
Pretty much every line.
have you ever wondered how they capture Fight Club?
I don't know. I don't talk about it.
That's right. That's
God,
enough.
God,
And this is why
God.
you're not even a white
God.
belt
I'm
yet,
not even a
dude.
white
God.
belt.
Did you guys know there's a mic here?
Do you know how they capture sound on traditional film?
Is it with mics?
No.
Is it with sound film?
So you think about this, okay? I don't know if you've ever thought about this. You have a moving picture, which is where we get the term movie. I don't know if you guys knew that, but we get the term movie from motion picture, which is capturing individual frames of light onto film and then running it at a certain speed.
At 23.9.
24, yeah, we just call it 24.
Yeah.
23.93.
There it is. I was going to say 4 for a second.
97.
That was a guess. I have no idea what it is.
It's 24.97. What is it, Chase?
That's 23.
24.
Damn it,
It's not
Matt.
24 flat. It's 23.98.
No, these are running at 23 something. Yeah.
23.97, 23.98.
Because that 0.3 is for the film, anyways, or for the audio.
Right. So the point is, it makes sense, right? When you think about it like that, like you play it at a certain speed and then it looks like it's moving, just like animation. How do they capture sound?
I don't know. I'm too distracted by the dick hole in your pants.
Oh, well, I left that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's absurdly white.
My leg?
Yes.
Well, I'm
The same color as
white
your
boy.
shirt.
I'm Norwegian and English and Slavic.
I just noticed it because it was like a fucking signal beacon. And as soon as you moved your hands away from your crotch,
Do you want me to take a Sharpie and
The beacons of Gondor are lit!
do you want me to do black thigh for you?
How fast does that get you canceled?
I don't know. No one's ever done it before. Let's find out.
Next on
take-
Man vs. Morning.
blue spray painted.
It moves every now and then. You get to see that.
Oh man.
But anyway, have you thought about this? How do they capture sound
Is it
on film?
is it
Vinyl.
the same as like an AM like radio? Like where sound
It's
is
kind of like
checking?
vinyl. Yeah, they use a shit, I forget the name. Holy shit! What was that?
It's ice.
Was that
My
ice?
phone dropped.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
I thought
phone
my
fell off.
I thought my
it
phone
just exploded.
Yeah, it was my phone fell off.
It fell. Oh,
We
it
have
broke the
such
glass.
glasses.
Wow. There you go.
A glass just randomly broke as I was saying.
There's ghosts in this house, everyone.
So that's weird because I was gonna say they use an exciter, which is what it's called. It's this little piece that it's this little mechanism that they put on the camera. And then it basically captures the same
Tell us
way-
more about the exciter, Jake.
the exciter.
I'm getting excited about this.
That's what the hole of Jake's pants is called. Is the Exciter. These are really expensive Los Angeles pants.
Remember, don't
No,
be
these are
threatened. The Exciter is
$30
your
Wrangler
friend.
cowboy cuts that I got at freaking Tractor Supply.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's okay.
Was that a weed eater?
You don't have to try to prep school me this time. He's got.
Did
this
you
whole
know that
running
Jake is
thing.
from a very nice, wealthy individual area from New Hampshire and grew up skiing?
This is not true. None of
Cross-country
this is
skiing.
true.
Yeah,
believe
there's a
all
whole
of this.
Disney movie about
My
him,
father was a carpenter and my mom was a flight attendant.
and they made excellent money.
My grandparents were iron ore miners.
And they owned the mine.
just dig the hole deeper. Like, it was.
That's
Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? You'll never know.
like saying Steve Jobs worked at a cell phone company.
So, like, we sat down with the first episode.
Got this whole thing going. Oh, you went to Notre Dame. You're on a track scholarship. You're a lawyer.
We sat down for the first episode.
Blah, blah,
like,
blah.
A point of pride in Jake's life is like he's a self-made guy, you know, kind of done
Self-made
himself
man.
up.
Oh, good old Silver Spoon Watson.
And he starts going down this whole thing about like growing up like skiing as a kid. Like, wait, what?
Cross country skiing. It was, and my parents would take out like credit
You
cards
can
and go
afford
into
skis?
debt.
This is
Yes,
like
They would go into
That's
debt.
what rich people do.
Right. I bought my
They
own
leverage
shoes.
shoes.
My mom would like work extra hours just to buy us cross country skis so that we could. And then I got all the hand me downs.
Do they not have rentals?
They do, but like they're trash. You can't actually ski fast in rentals.
So you had your own skis.
Yeah, that my brother had originally.
I feel like there's a
that I got
Disney movie
handed
about this,
down
but
to
it's in
me.
rollerblades.
Balto.
Yeah. I didn't get my actual first pair that were mine until I was a captain of the cross country ski team.
Wow.
All right, that did not help.
Yeah, it didn't
the
any-
Did not help.
no.
Okay.
Next we'll find out.
Until I had won a regional tournament in Polo Cross.
We went on him so hard on the first episode. He was like, all right, we're taking a
I
break.
might have to take a break again. This is so f***ed up. You guys are.
I know you've accomplished a lot in your life, and I'm very proud of you.
I'm just very glad I didn't have to work at Grandpappy's mine.
Get the black lung.
Got the black lung pop. So how do they capture sound with the Exciter?
Okay, I'll get on with this and then we'll get back to Brandon. So they have the exciter, it captures sound, kind of like a vinyl, and then it etches it in with a light pattern onto the film.
What?
Yeah. Like when it's actually on the film, that's actually being read as a light pattern. Yeah, it's fascinating.
How do they convert that to like a speaker?
I don't know. Yeah, it puts out an analog signal.
I could say
have you ever
something,
seen
but it'd
those?
get me canceled.
What?
Continue.
I don't even know how you could get canceled from that. But
It's like those original like the clay pots, and this could all be bullshit, but I remember reading this at some point. Like the clay pots that they found that had the weird like
Oh, yes.
like the cylinders that had like the weird spiral patterns on them, and then they figured out you could play that like a vinyl.
yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, they basically had a stereophone,
Right.
way back in the day.
Stereogram or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. It's because a sound wave is a physical thing.
Right.
It's a physical thing that moves through the air just because we can't see it. But when you capture it, it's the same thing as capturing something else physical. And so then all you need to do is have something that can read it, like a phonograph.
How many bridges do you need when you capture sound?
A lot of bridges, man.
I'll tell you what. A lot.
And yeah, you just talk to the guys in the music industry. I think Pete
Oh.
had an issue with that, didn't he?
Do you know how many bridges Diddy has built?
Not enough.
Not enough.
So anyway, ask the question that you've been meaning to ask for a half hour.
What do you mean?
Oh, come on.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Brandon's
What?
great
Brandon,
achievement.
listen, Brandon,
all
I need
forgot.
to know for me, now for the first time of me asking ever on this podcast.
For the first time in live stereo broadcast.
This episode
Mandalorian.
exclusive.
What are some of your greatest achievements throughout your career? What would you hold as like some of your highest moments?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of achievements that I've had that like, you know, it keeps getting bigger, so I feel like it's all like recent or whatever, but like I take a lot of pride in the fight. I thought that was really cool. Like
Yeah.
to,
That was really cool.
with no notice, basically pick up a skill well enough to be able to, I mean, basically beat up a man on live TV. It was
Right.
Pretty
wild.
sweet, dude.
I
Watching
enjoyed that.
Watching that fight, and then watching. I was in the when he goes, "What are you watching?"
And I go, Brandon's fighting right now. And she goes, wait, what? Really?
She comes and sits on the couch, and then you win, and we're both going, oh,
My mother and grandmother were watching it. Like my grandma, because my grandfather is a Korean war vet.
Okay.
He real big into wrestling till the end of his life. And after he died, my grandmother continued to watch wrestling. So if I'm ever in a room,
She still thinks it's real.
and if I'm ever in a room with John Cena, I've been told that I will be disowned if I don't get a picture or something for her. But no, but like I take pride in that. I take pride in the fact that I've been able to basically buck what I was supposed to do.
yeah.
I'm supposed to be a miserable attorney, and
Just like Maine.
Well, I wouldn't consider you a miserable attorney.
I just consider him miserable.
Yeah, exactly. You barely do attorney work anymore. It's fine. No, but basically buck the preordained path my life was supposed to go and did my own thing. Like the Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. I vibe with that a lot.
It's a good song too.
Great.
That's why you sing it at karaoke all the time.
I did it like one time. I think it was for you.
I was there.
It was for you.
Was it for me?
It was.
It feels so special.
You did
I
a
wanted-
great job with it.
Thank you.
This was something I like really wanted to get into on the show. Is like how many people outside of like personal friends know that you're a big karaoke guy?
Probably too many.
Everybody at the bar.
But really, I've got a lot of personal things that I take a lot of pride in. Well, for one, on the political side of things, it's like, man, I got $13 million spent against me of establishment money that I was able to waste that otherwise wouldn't have been spent.
I was trying to explain
That's
that
true.
to somebody at O'Brien's restaurant the other day, and I think they kind of picked up what I was saying, but I didn't. It was kind of in passing, so I didn't have time to explain it all. But yeah, that's fascinating.
It's kind of like the 300 Spartans.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, they lost.
But did they?
Did they?
It's the Alamo.
They f***ed up so many of their forces. And at the end of the day, like, you made a god bleed. It's
Right,
like one of
yeah.
those, like, you are vulnerable. I want you to know that, like that sort of thing. So like, it was on paper, it was an L.
You are a bitch, admit it.
But like 13
Made
to
a
1,
god bleed.
It was an
or
L,
10 to 1 outspent.
So
And I took
let me
him to
just,
a
Brandon's
Raw,
too humble to
you
bring
lost
this up.
by
Let me
like
break it
400,
down.
right?
Brandon's too humble to bring this up. He was about to win. Let's just put it how it is. And they knew that. And so what they did is they did a classic smear campaign. But in order to do that smear campaign, they had to, the opponent that he was running against had to go back to Washington and go to the political committees, the lobby committees, the money committees, and put money together that he wasn't planning on calling on. He had to basically call in every favor that he had to get that done in order to outspend Brandon for name recognition. Because let's be honest, at the district level, when you're talking about a primary, it comes down to name recognition. And if somebody's like, well, I voted for that guy and I don't know about that guy because I saw an ad that said I shouldn't know about that guy, then I'm going to vote for the other guy because that's how people vote. And they know that. And so they just basically outspent you to do that. And in order to do that, he had to call on way more favors.
They
than
spent millions in the last 2 weeks.
millions of
That's
dollars.
so wild.
Sounds like almost only Lando.
And they didn't like him. And I'll just say this for you because you don't have to say it for yourself. Then I can get the blame. They didn't like him because they couldn't control him.
Yeah, no,
that's-
I'm comfortable saying that. Yeah.
Who owns you, boy?
Politics.
I didn't take any hack money. I don't want it.
Right.
I did-
That-
I
and
didn't-
that's what I've realized about the DC mindset is if they can't control you, if they can't tell you what to say and what not to say, they're terrified.
They 100% prefer the devil that they know.
Yes. Right.
Were you completely self-funded? Did you take in? I mean, I'm sure you had like grassroots funding, but
Yeah, no, I put a lot of my own money in. We had a lot of small dollar donors. The only thing that ever even came close to PAC money or anything like that was people that I had already had a relationship with. Like we took a couple $5,000 checks from NAGR, National Association for Gun
yeah,
Rights.
sure.
People that
kind
we
of
were
look at
already
it
on
like
the same
Shell.
Yeah, exactly. Shell. People that I already agreed with.
Right.
Right.
It's just- I
we
feel like
weren't
that's-
taking anything from Exxon or
Right.
shit like that.
I feel like that's one of the things I wish people. I feel like over the last couple of years, the American public's kind of starting to get the racket that is DC.
Yeah.
But, politics it was always supposed to be grassroots. The idea is that it's us in this room and we decide that Chase is going to be the guy that speaks for us, and we put our money together to get him where he needs to go. And it stopped being that. The corporate takeover of politics in the early 1900s, it forever changed what American politics was. And I don't think the average person gets that at all.
No,
all the
100%.
super PACs and stuff. Just the fact that you ran and got as far as you did without super PAC money is it's admirable, you know?
I appreciate it. Well, it's something that it still is an achievement. I still think I'm still pretty proud of it. I had $13 million spent to slander me in my hometown,
Right,
the town I live in.
exactly.
I'm like, okay, well, but we still I made them spend that money to beat a YouTuber.
And it shows that it shows that the system still kind of works in that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, thank God it does.
Right.
Because that's the way that it was designed and that's the way that it's supposed to work. But until I saw you do that, I was a doubter.
Yeah.
I said, maybe it doesn't work like that anymore.
I think we're gonna get
seeing
back
you
to
do
it.
that. It does work like
It's
that.
the beginning of open source politics.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Mainstream media,
And you spearheaded it.
it's that established power that kind of got established in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, you're watching it die now, and like social media and the cell phone has a big thing to play in that. Like,
Yeah.
The days of curated opinions over information are over.
MTV killed the radio star. Brandon Herrera killed the politician.
yeah,
JFK.
I don't know, the biggest thing though, I'll get where I was asking, how deep do you want to get with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my biggest accomplishment that I'm most proud of is that I was able to do all of this. Everything that I've done, I can still look myself in the mirror and say, I did the best that I could.
Yeah.
And I did it honest, and I can still say, a man's word is his bond. I stand by everything that, I've done, and I can feel good about it.
Right.
And a lot of people that get to this position can't say that.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a clean conscience.
Right.
And that's, there's shit I've done that I wish I didn't do and whatnot, but you learn from it. But
Right.
I can still say I'm not beholden to anybody.
Yeah.
I feel like I've carved out a pretty good life for myself, and I didn't sell my soul to do it.
I did it my way.
I'd legit, I would rather die poor and misunderstood, but to walk my own path. And I think that's one of those marks of
There's a proverb about
masculinity
that, yeah.
is that you decide what your morals are as a man, and you don't falter on them. And what comes your way because of it. But you walk your own path
Says
in
it's
life.
better to be poor and to
Yeah.
live righteously than to be rich and not.
And
Basically.
that was the gamble I took,
Yeah.
because I lived poor for a while.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Hell yeah, brother.
And and there's no guarantee you'll succeed at it, but it's man, I would again rather go out on my terms than.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
It's that beautiful phrase of if you knew success was 1,000 failures away, how fast would you want to start failing?
Yeah.
And it's the thing that no one wants to fail. And everyone that's successful in life has this entire allegory of failures and difficulties and overdraft bank accounts and
Failed
sitting at restaurants
companies.
being hungry and
Yeah. Companies that I've tried to
Yeah.
get involved with, the shit that failed, videos that didn't perform, risks I took that didn't pay out.
Yeah.
unless you're Nick.
Unless you're,
Unless you're Nick.
that's not a green light to just start failing
No.
on purpose.
Yeah,
Like make legitimate shots.
1,000 women.
yeah.
you should put everything that you are into things, but when it blows up in your face and doesn't work out, then you just get up the next day and try again. Yesterday's gone, today's all you've got, and tomorrow is the product of what you did today.
This is what we're dealing with my girls' softball game last night. They played a great game. They lost by 1. Sometimes that's just how it goes.
and you just yelled at them all the way home.
Yeah, and I just said, I can't believe you did this to the reputation of our family.
I can't believe you did this to me.
Yeah, to me. I'm putting myself out there.
You didn't win because you weren't perfect.
Yeah.
Well, honey, I guess you're getting air for dinner again.
Please, Daddy, no.
That's why she sneaks up on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrified of you.
One day it's going to be a knife in the neck.
Honestly, that is a trait of little girls. They're very nosy
knives in the
and they're
neck? Oh.
sneaky. No, they're just sneaky and very nosy.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Little
that.
boys just kind of do their own
Yeah.
thing.
You're
Little
doing
girls
that.
are
Right.
They're sneaky, they're nosy, and they're in the back of Nolan's van.
And
With that. Hey, should we do you want to do one more fun segment before we wrap up the main show?
I'm on your time.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing. This show is 4 hours long now.
Until I'm not. So
And then he just leaves.
we're talking, just gets up.
So as you know, if you've seen other episodes of this show, we have a segment called 1-Star Reviews. Now,
dear. I've got one.
okay.
You guys are like the 2 crack ferrets from Ice Age.
At least he is.
Hell yeah, dude.
So what I did is I went out and found 2 crack ferrets.
It's not far from the truth.
When I scurry with
Do you know what I'm talking about?
From Ice Age.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
When Jake met us,
I didn't know if that was like a movie your kids had watched.
Yeah. That's how I know what it is.
when Jake met us in Vegas this year, I had negative $1,500 in my bank account. Nolan had a pregnant wife and no way to pay rent at the end of the month. And we were in Vegas spending the last, I don't know, $200 that we had, like terrified. Crack Fair was not far from here.
Hi, you want to do business with us?
Are you sure?
Historically, not a good idea.
Historically, things have not gone well.
I'll just take an ice water, please.
I'll just have an ice water.
Literally every restaurant we went to was like, the Ballistic High Speed guys took us to this really nice, I don't know what it was. It was like an Asian place.
Asian noodle.
Mach
As soon as
32.
as soon as we sat down, I opened the menu and the first thing was $235. And I was like, I'm getting water. Like, I don't know if they're buying this and I don't have any money.
And now look at you, getting underpaid by Pepper Box.
Full circle, baby.
He works hourly now. No, but we wanted to do a 1-star review.
Works hourly on a once-a-week podcast.
That's an hour long.
$15.99.
No, Texas's minimum wage is like $7.99.
Hey, hold on. We call that right to work. Okay?
Don't come by the house. There's still no living room furniture in there. It's
Jake comes by once a week and just throws a tenner at you. He's like, clean yourself up. You look like a whore.
He's in the corner.
he doesn't even give me a tenner. He just gives me a half-used thing of baby wipes.
There's a $10 bill at the bottom.
You know what to do with it. You are a bitch.
Just the most diabolical thing I think I've ever heard you say.
That's true. That was
I got to
like the
turn on that
grossest
host
joke.
energy. You know what I'm saying? Normally,
Yeah.
I'm like more
Dad energy.
Angry.
Okay, Brandon, we wanted to play 1-star reviews with you.
Okay.
From things people have said about you.
Okay.
Do you want to play that game?
Sure.
Okay. He's got a bunch of them queued up.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say like the ones that hurt my feelings are the ones that like because like I get a bunch of negative comments all the time. And usually I'm just
you?
like, oh yeah. Well, like my audience is usually very positive, but
Yeah.
like I get a bunch of negative shit,
On X.
and like the ones that hurt are like things that I know I've f***ed up before,
Yeah.
and I see it too, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like you, but fair.
When someone hits you with some truth,
Those are
you're
the
like,
the true ones. Yeah, but that's good. You know, it makes you better.
Self-awareness,
Right.
Yeah.
that's a virtue.
It's all constructive criticism at the end of the day.
Not all of it's constructive. It's all criticism. Some of it's constructive.
But not all of it's constructive criticism.
Hit me.
Okay, so
Here we go.
welcome to 1-star reviews.
The first one just says, "You are a bitch."
You will admit it.
Admit it. Okay.
Can we get a sign that says you are bitch admitted?
Get the neon guys.
Yeah.
One of those.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, quick tangent. We're gonna make Pepperbox neons,
Nice.
and we're gonna send them to all the creators.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Put that in my office.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went digging, and like you said, surprisingly enough, most of your comments on your videos are outstanding,
Surprisingly and-
positive.
And you say mostly, because we're gonna see the ones that aren't.
Well, I found a lot of these from what was it? Liberal gun owners.
Oh yeah.
So,
So my favorite
Brandon's
subreddit.
Quick side tangent. I went to Twitter and I typed in Brandon Herrera.
How many are people that wanted to f me?
No, what's surprising enough, it was just you saying the word
We should,
Is that surprising?
we should
No.
change this shirt to say
Brandon.
Just do it with a Sharpie.
Just a really
fine.
shitty Sharpie.
But like it, and then you can decide what it means.
Yeah. So we'll start out with the first one from a self-proclaimed socialist.
Ah.
Opinion
Brandon-
disregarded. Moving on.
Just hasn't been tried
disregarded.
correctly.
Yeah, that just hasn't been tried correctly. Brandon Herrera is the personification of a libertarian, but actually diet Republican, who gets all of their politics and opinions from 4chan/poll board in 2012. But he somehow exists in our Lord's year of 2023.
So, fun fact: I've never been to 4chan in my life. I get all my 4chan.
We know
like,
you have, Tackett.
you look like somebody who's been.
I built a lot of bridges. Okay? I deserve my 4chan time. 4chan is the heart of the internet.
I get it all watered down in memes later. Like that's like I get the distilled 4chan in my f***ing algorithm.
Yeah.
The best of the best.
Probably worth it.
They call that 5chan.
I think there are like 5chan, like
Yeah.
8chan.
There's 8chan, which is like 4chan that's like
I was
not
just making
horrible.
a joke.
4chan is horrible. Don't go there.
It's the birthplace of death on the internet.
is.
So there was a post on liberal gun owners that said, "Sounds like no more demo ranch," right? Because his
I think
his
I read
funeral,
this thread.
Rip.
and somebody said, I stopped watching because he couldn't keep Brandon Herrera off camera.
Shit! How dare you? How dare you go on your friend's YouTube page and then get on camera?
Sorry, I ruined your demo ranch party.
They were having a nice time.
It was having a great time until you came on. Which
I love how like I'm the bad guy in this scenario, but you're perfectly fine with the
Right.
family man, Christian conservative demo ranch.
Right.
Like the most wholesome of any
it's
of us.
because he doesn't talk about politics that much.
No, he just personifies toxic masculinity,
Right.
which means starting a family and being a good man.
Heaven forbid.
Being a successful veterinarian on top of it, you know what I mean? Like,
Dude, you wouldn't believe when we made that
That thermal camera video that we did, like how many people, especially on our subreddit, which is the distilled,
The corridor.
who were just going, they had Brandon on? And yeah, you mean we took a recognized firearms expert who would know about this device and
Who
we
lent you the thermals?
who lent us the $7,000 thermals, and then we came, 10, whatever. And then he came on he was generous enough to come on the episode.
I think it was two
and
different ones, but
help explain what it is and what it does. And we just totally focused. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, okay.
I love it's like I can be
You
politically
lent us
neutral.
your time and your talents and your treasure. It's like people are just, I don't like that guy.
It's not like I spew politics and everything. It's like you asked me to come on, it's like
Not at
explain thermals. I'm just not like this person, blah blah. Trump's America, bro. I was like, yeah, this is what it is, blah 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 blah. And
Little
like, I
do-
can't believe this. This channel's political now.
Super cordial, nice, talented, informative.
Little do you guys know, Brandon Herrera, this is the truth, has a Trump tattoo going across his stomach.
I do
it
not.
says Trump, sick bastard.
what a strange thing about social media.
No
though.
regrets.
Not even a
Like
single
what a
one.
strange thing about social media though. Like it would blow my mind that like Demolition Ranch's audience and your audience would be like that different. But like Demolition Ranch's people actually like getting mad that you're on that channel. Like that's so strange.
What I'm surprised is that there's anyone on liberal gun owners who's watching Demo Man.
Right.
Right.
What are you just sitting at home, just seething in anger, watching YouTube that you hate? Like,
Yes.
what is your life?
One answer. Redditor.
Yeah.
Reddit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's move
So,
on.
no, we're not moving on. We're staying on. It's my time, motherfucker. Because there is a comment to that.
Okay.
Because, they clearly stopped watching Matt because couldn't keep you off camera.
I think I've been in like 4 of his videos.
You've ruined it. The
Like,
entire
you
channel.
did it.
2,000.
He had to retire because of you coming on the channel. It's your fault.
You did this to him.
It was a political
took our
ploy all
bullet.
along.
I think somebody said that at some point. On like one of those.
That's
things.
hilarious. Okay, so then somebody comments and says, good old ran for public office and lost, Brandon Herrera. When you're a racist piece of shit, you can't even get elected in Texas, you're a loser racist piece of shit.
Do you have a rebuttal, sir?
Nah.
No, he nailed it pretty much.
am what I am, brother.
My heart.
My favorite part is just like all the attacks that they ran about shit like that. It's like you could levy those same attacks against the History Channel.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he shot a Nazi weapon. It's like, okay. I'm also like pretty vehemently like anti-government and pro-gun,
Right.
Yeah.
which the Nazis historically really weren't. They were pretty big
Not
fans
at all.
of censorship and
The first
big
thing
government.
that they did was take away everyone's guns.
No, we don't talk about that.
It's like
It's almost-
literally the first thing.
No, they
It's
were
almost
totally
like the thing
pro
that
people.
makes you American is that like we don't really like the government.
yeah. It's like I don't like the government. I don't
literally
like
says it on your
taxes.
hat.
Yeah.
I don't like a police state. I don't like anti-gun stuff. Like
Right. Just leave
I
us
would
the
be
fuck alone.
worst Nazi on the planet.
Yeah. Reagan said, tell us what the problem is and get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Not according to Tony Gonzalez.
Liberty
That's
flows
true.
from the people.
But I want to finish on this one because I feel like it's good. People like this guy is one of the reasons I feel unsafe in the gun community.
Good.
That one shocked me. That one shocked me because in every Darwin Awards, you make it a point to describe the 4 rules of gun safety. That's the first thing you start with. And then anytime somebody does something real bad on Darwin Awards, you always make a point to describe what they could have done better, how to apply the 4 rules of gun safety, and then just basic things like, hey guys, don't put a gun to your head for social media and things like
Well,
that.
I think
Like,
I don't think he's talking about physical safety. I think he's like
Isn't it strange that people can feel unsafe via
Online
The first time
words on their
somebody genuinely said to me that words are violence,
right.
my mind
melted.
cracked.
Do you remember?
I feel like I know who
I
said it
said
to you.
that's exactly the opposite of what violence is.
Right.
Violence is when you're no longer talking.
Violence
you
is
also
action.
can't just say shit and it's truth now.
Right.
It's like words
whoa,
are
whoa,
violence.
whoa,
It's
whoa.
like, do you?
I was
How?
shocked. I
There
was
was this like
shocked.
beautiful time in history where like everyone drank out of garden hoses, and we were raised to believe that like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, how did we that up?
We
Like,
stopped
how did
drinking
we-
out of garden
How did we
hoses.
stop
That's the
telling
problem.
our kids that like, hey,
Because
it's up to
kindergarten
you.
teachers started teaching kids that everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Fair enough.
And with that, I
Deep
think
part
it's
of the
time we
episode.
go into the after show.
Yeah, actually, that's a great transition to the after show. If you enjoyed this episode, first of all, thank you for watching. Brandon, thank you for being here,
course,
man.
it's a privilege.
I really, honestly, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your faith in this endeavor.
I'll send you the invoice.
Yeah.
No, don't talk about that.
And no, just honestly, just lending us your time and telling us your story, because I think a lot of people see you on your own channel, they see you on Unsub, but they don't get to spend this kind of time with you. So thank you for doing that.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It's like I said, you guys are friends, even if some of you don't know it. And I just appreciate being included.
What do you mean by
Absolutely.
some of you?
Just happy to be here.
So thank you for watching, and if
What do
you'd
you
like
mean,
to
you
see us
people?
go on further, we have an exclusive after show available only on Pepperbox TV. Start your 14-day free trial with the link in the description below.
Is it 14 days now?
Hell yeah,
always
brother.
been 14.
We're giving it away.
We're giving it away. Join us on the after show at Pepperbox TV. Are you ready, boys? 3, 2, 1.